Hello, my Zentangle friends. This is Barbara Langston, CZT, Certified Zentangle Teacher. Welcome to Not Perfect Zen and Inktober 2021 Tangles. And today I am doing day 28, and I'm actually doing it again. I was getting ahead a little bit and did two different videos in one day, and then when I went back to edit them, it turns out that both of them were unusable, and it was my error. Won't go into details, but I didn't do it right, but it was good practice. And the first one that I did was this one, which is day 28, Effie by Annett Rumpler. And I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. And this is a fun one. It's an easy one. Botanicals, you know I like it. And I'm going to be using a Micron 01, graphite pencil, and a blending stump. And I'm just going to go ahead and show you on my tile how to do this pattern. This one took a little bit of practice for me, just because the perfectionist in me wants it to look perfect, but it's not going to. So anyway, let me show you the basic pattern. Okay, so she starts with an orb. It can be round, it can be a little bit more elongated, however you'd like to do it. And then she puts two base petals. So here's one. And then I'm going to do one to match on the other side. Okay. And I have found that I get mine a little bit better if I'll go ahead and just very lightly do an arc that goes from one tip to the other. And then the next step is that you add these lines, whoops, that will be the tops of the petals that you're adding. And it's up to you how wide you want to make these petals. I think I do best if I'm putting 4. Okay. And then we're going to take a line from that side at the top of your lines that you're putting up there and bring it down to the bottom like that. Okay. So we're going to do that. And I think one of the important things with this pattern is you want to leave a space. That's what makes this one a little bit different from the other patterns that have petals like this. You can round your corners a little bit there. Okay, so that is the basic pattern. And then you would shade it. I'll go ahead and show you how to shade this one the way that I like the best. I'm going to put a decent amount of graphite down here at the base of each of these petals. And then some here at the top also. And if you did your line up here, if you're doing that, if you do it light enough, then it's not going to show up. Okay. And then with the blending stump. I'm just going to pull this toward the center. And same thing here on each of these petals. I'm going to bring it down and soften it toward the center, but I'm going to leave it light in the same area all the way across here. So let's start kind of at the bottom so that our shading is coming up about the same. And then I like to just soften it so that you don't have a harsh edge. Okay, now we're going to bring these down. And I'm doing this in kind of a circle so that I don't have any obvious lines, hopefully. And this is something that I've learned from practicing shading and from practicing on Zen gems, that going in these circles is a nice way to blend your shading or blend your colors. Okay. And then I would just come in here and add a little bit of shading up here at the top. And don't fill in the whole bottom. Okay, so there you go. That's the basic way to do Effies. Not Effies, E-F-F-I-E. So just to give you a couple of other ideas, let's do another one. And I'm doing them a pretty good size. This one is a little bit more elongated. And I find that if I do the left side first, it's a little bit easier for me to get the right side to kind of match. I'll bring my pencil so I can bring this line over. And I found that I don't like it to be too tall. I think I'll bring this down just a little bit. Okay. And I'm going to start this time, show you a different way that you can do it, similar to how I do in a drum. Is start at the bottom and bring your petal up. These are going to be kind of tall. And as I come across, I'm following that line that I put there. Okay, so there's two different ways that you can add those petals. And one of the variations that you could do here is to add like a little fescue. It's easy to add just one little thing that makes a nice difference. Okay, and I'm going to put just a little bit of hatching down here. Okay, so there's another idea on how to do one. Let's do one here. And this is another organic flowery tangle, which it's the kind of pattern I'm most interested in right now. Okay, so I did my little base petals and my arc. Now this time again, I'm going to put the lines. Okay, and then come down from the top to the base of your petals. I like rounding them just a little bit up there at the top. So like I said, I thought I was getting ahead on my videos, and I'm not behind, but I was hoping to be done with these two. But I've enjoyed these flowers, so it's okay. All right, on this one, I'm going to darken in this part. And I am going to grab my graphic one, this one, just so it fills in a little bit better. I've really gotten dependent on this pen, and I really like it for filling in large areas. Because when I try to do filling in a large area with a graphic one, I end up being too hard on it and it breaks it. Okay, so there's an idea for that. And I'm going to do another one here. And I'm making these fairly big just so you can see exactly what I'm doing. Okay, that didn't match. Let's see how this comes out. I got busy looking at what I had done here and didn't, excuse me, do so well over there. Interested to see how this turns out. The perfectionist in me is not happy. Okay, it's odd, but it'll be okay. And what I wanted to show you on this one was an idea of adding auras inside. And this might actually make this petal not be so noticeable. Okay, so just keep going in. On each of these petals, just keep adding auras inside. Okay. All right, one more. All right. The spacing's not exactly right, but it's okay. Excuse me. On this one, I'm going to show you another way that you can fill this in with cross hatching. And I got this idea from another artist who had done this pattern. And she put cross hatching on this part. I thought it was really pretty. So now we're just going to turn. I don't want it to be exactly parallel, not parallel. Exactly square. I guess that's the word I'm looking for. Okay, and you can see too that my pen didn't exactly mark on each of these, and that makes it look even better. Okay, so there's, the basic ideas on how to do this. We do some shading. On the inside of this, I'm going to put shading all on the inner part. And then also on the petals here. Okay. And then soften it. Pull this shading up. And I'm just going to put a little bit up here at the tops. And I'm going to use my kneaded eraser and remove that little bit of line that I can still see there. And then with what's just left on my blending stump, I'm adding a little bit of shading on the tips of each of these petals. Okay. I'm going to add a little more hatching on this one just to make it a little bit different. A little bit stronger than what I did on this one. And now I'm going to add my graphite at the base of the petals. And then soften it. And I'm trying to not get graphite between the petals. I think I got some in that one. And again, just keep softening it. Okay. A little bit on this end. I just think it helps to pull this together if you have shading at the end of the petals also, even if it's just very light. Okay. This one really can't see on each, especially over here, you can't see where there's a division between the petals. And I have seen where, I think even with some of the tiles that I saw from the artist Annett Rumpler, this is her pattern, that she had a few where she had done even more petals than this. So this has 6. Mine generally have 4 to 6 petals. Well, actually, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, 6 to 7. But you could have them come around even more. Okay, and in this one, I'm going to actually do more like a gemstone type shading. So I'm adding a fairly heavy amount of graphite just up here, and then just very light along the bottom. And then I'm going to bring my blending stump and then just very lightly keep doing circles and pull that graphite down. And just kind of soften it so you don't see an edge from your pencil. And then down here, I want to have like a little circle that stays white. Okay, so I want that area to stay white. And then I'm just going to keep softening that. I want it to be darkest up here at the top and lightest down here at the bottom. And then I'm going to go back with my micron and I'm going to redefine that line a little bit. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing on this one. Sometimes you lose your line a little bit when you put the graphite down, and that just kind of sharpens it. Okay, and I know I didn't mention it in the beginning, but I'm going to use a white Jelly Roll 10 and just put a little bit of a sparkle highlight up there on that one. All right, here we go. There's 4 different ideas on ways to do the pattern Effie. I hope you're enjoying Inktober. I have learned a lot. I've really enjoyed doing the videos and hope that they've been helpful to you. And don't worry about keeping up. I mean, you can do these any day. It doesn't have to be exactly done in October. Just use it as a list of patterns that you can learn from. Okay, so these are a little bit different, and you can put stems. And I meant to say in the beginning, where's the front of my book, that I did add a few patterns. I don't know if you've noticed, but I put Ing and Effie, and this is tomorrow's pattern, actually. All right, there you go. Effie in a few ways, and I will see you next time. Be safe, be well. Thank you again for your comments and for your support. I appreciate it so much. See you next time. Bye.